Alright, we are continuing Grindelwald vs. Voldemort Part 6 today. And today we're going to be talking about Voldemort's displays of power. That is, actual powerful spells that he has cast in the books. And while I don't want to turn this into a Voldemort bashing video, the problem is that I'm having trouble finding any. Indeed, almost every spell Voldemort casts in the books is Avada Kedavra. And when he's not using Avada Kedavra, he's using Crucio or Imperio. And as we know, his Imperio spell wasn't even powerful enough to control Harry. Near the end of the last book, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, he does appear to use the Expulso spell, but it's supposed to blow its targets apart entirely. However, it seems to have failed to kill any of the three people that it hit, as it sent McGonagall, Shacklebolt, and Slughorn flying, but didn't kill them like it would have if a powerful wizard had cast it. But, like I said, I don't want this to be a Voldemort bashing video. So I'm going to give him some concessions. Which, while Voldemort probably finds that funny and would count it as a victory, it's actually really sad. But let's move forwards. One of the most notable things that Voldemort ever did was the creation of the Horcruxes. And while the creation of a Horcrux is never said to be difficult, it is described as abhorrent, and it gives you a sort of power over death. The ability to survive something that would have otherwise killed you is a sort of power of its own. Even if that survival basically lands you as an inanimate object until somebody comes along and helps you regain what you once were. Which brings us to about the only other thing that I could find, and it comes from the movies, so it's not technically canon. The big shield spell over Hogwarts never actually happened in the books, so Voldemort destroying it in the movies doesn't technically count, but because he's so slim on displays of power, I feel like we're just going to give it to him. He also presumably killed Amelia Bones, which, if you remember, was the only person who was fair to Harry during his trial. While this isn't technically a display of power, she was the head of the Department of Magical Law Enforcement and was said to have put up a good fight. She was likely fairly powerful. It's kind of playing on some headcanon though, since we don't know for sure, but once again, we have to give Voldemort some concessions to find anything he did that was powerful. And the kind of catch-all reason for that everybody gives is that he did so much of his work in secret, that nobody knows what he actually did that was great and powerful. You always kind of hear about his exploits through the grapevine, but most of it's just killing and murdering. If we wanted to build a list of people he'd killed, it would be quite long. But out of all of his murders, the most impressive ones were the ones that he killed in order to make his Inferi, which were basically just a whole bunch of muggle vagabonds and stuff. Random, harmless people. And the most notable person he ever killed was Grindelwald, who was unarmed, old, alone, and locked in a prison cell. In the end, the only thing that ever made him powerful really was his followers.